Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 7th of November. Looking at the euro dollar first then, and well, yesterday we saw quite a small day yesterday. We almost retested the prior lows there from late last month. There's a chance we're sort of coming back to test that sort of zone again today at the moment. If we can break that area, I really would like to see it break. Actually, there's a monthly, it's a weekly, there's a monthly moving average below us, the monthly 8. It's sitting there, not that far behind, about 40 pips down. Actually, it actually is. Now, if it breaks that level, it really confirms this sort of trend a little bit more in terms of perhaps a bit more of a correction. So watching that at the moment, some of us are a bit short, not in height but in position already. Now it's whether or not we can, if it can break it and pull back, I'll be looking to add into that short position, looking for perhaps a bigger correction here, at least down to the S1, monthly S1, maybe more, and just trying to trade this through to see if it does continue to the downside. So that's the euro. The pound. The pound's a bit more on the choppier side. Now, yesterday it put in this daily pivot swing. It just pipped the top of that at the moment, triggering perhaps a little bit more bullishness there. But we'll see how it shapes up today. It just ran through its weekly pivot. There is the potential, if it continues in this mode, it will push up back towards its regression average there. At the moment, just coming back to test the 4 hourly 21s, 500 MA, etc. As I say, there is the possibility. It's looking a little bit bullish there at the moment. Daily pivots just below that may provide a bit of support for any upside, but we just need to watch it carefully. It has already broken through its 60-21s. It may overlap that daily pivot easy enough through this morning, but it has had a slightly more bullish tendency. But both the euro and the pound have sold this morning. Okay, dollar yen. Now, dollar yen, as I said yesterday in the weekly update, it does look a bit iffy in terms of its potential to the downside. However, having hit the weekly pivot, it's now sort of having a bit of a bounce up there. And again, it's within a trading range at the moment. It still sits in that sort of tight trading range which it's been in since the beginning of this month, and certainly for a good part of last month as well, or at least a week of last month, should I say. Now, still erring and wondering whether we'll see a more of a sell-off on this, but with the slightly weaker yen and a slightly stronger dollar there, maybe this will push back to the upside, but maybe it's done its move for now. We'll see how it runs, but as I say, it was a bearish looking bar there on the dailies. It's got some potential to roll over, and it would be interesting to see how the market's moved this morning. Occasionally it will move on its own, and won't necessarily be correlated with the euro and the pound, etc. So, as I say, need to see how that runs. So, Aussie dollar, well, interest rates were left alone. There was discussions of poor consumer spending and consumption. Inflation is not really running too high, and well, we saw a little pop and drop there through the Asian session, and it's still, to me, the Aussie dollar, just like the euro dollar, is looking like a tad on the weaker side, and we could see some follow through of these moves here. Maybe look to sell into any sort of correction. Maybe a possibility. Needs to be a bit careful because it has put a couple of higher lows in through this move up here in the intermediate move, but it has rolled over at the moment, and with that news, I think it could roll some more. There is another report. The quarterly monetary statement comes out on Friday, but there's nothing else in the way until then, really, that will give it too much of a problem. So certainly a potential for that to continue to roll on the downside there. Canadian dollar, well, Might have expected something else, but here with the price of oil being given a boost, we've seen the Canadian dollar continue running in to the downside here at the moment. It's outperforming some of the other markets, and it could just continue to do this. Bit of a rally going on at the moment. It's not had the best of range. The average true range has dropped down on the Canadian dollar. You can see we can stay there bitty for long periods. Yep, we can have a bit of news that'll kick it, but that said, it has been trending downwards with lower highs, lower lows. At the moment, just seeing a bit of a rally coming through, in a sense, with the weaker US dollar. Stronger US dollar. We've seen just a little bit this morning. It's probably no surprise, but that could roll back again at some point. It does, as I say, the bigger picture there. It's starting to look like it may be rolling through. It has rolled through its weekly and monthly. Actually, it hasn't come back to the weekly. That's one thing that's it's undershot at the moment, and that I guess if we did see any sort of solid rally today, that would be a potential target. But I do wonder if it's just going to recover a little bit more whilst this oil price has been pushing up. So that's pretty much it today. We have got Draghi speaking today on the 10 o'clock. We've got a house price index at 930 in the UK. It doesn't really do too much to the markets normally. But Draghi is speaking on the opening remarks at the ECB forum on banking supervision. So I don't expect a lot to come from that, to be fair, but it may get we may see a bit of volatility later in the day. It's right down in the evening, really. We've got Yellen speaking at 8:30. We've got the Bank of Canada, Canadian governor speaking at 6:55, but his speech will be listed earlier, I believe. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so news out there later on this evening won't affect our day trading through our normal UK market. May give you a bit of volatility if you're trading through the US session. Right, have a great one. Bye for now.